Hi, my name is Vicky Nguyen with IdeateTV, and I am here with ABC Eyewitness News, David Ono. You're my favorite. I've been looking forward to this interview for so long.
Oh man, that puts pressure on me. I hope I don't disappoint you.
No, I already know that you won't. Do you have any advice for budding journalists?
Well, it's a tough industry, and it always has been. That's what I was told when I was where you are, and an up-and-comer. And I think what you have to do is, if you truly believe in yourself, you just have to keep going, and you have to do it. And you can't measure your success on small steps. Excuse me, let me say that again. You can't measure your success on big steps. Like, we always have that friend who, out of nowhere, super young, jumps to a major market or a major publication or something like that, and you say, why can't I do that? And you measure your success with that person, when that's truly not the way life works. It's the small steps that are the most important, and the small steps eventually get you where you need to go. And then in the long run, you don't know if that friend of yours who made it to the big time is going to last in the big time. Sure. We all evolve as professionals. And as we evolve, we become better, we become more efficient, we become more marketable. And then, the true measure is what happens at the end of your career, not the beginning of your career. So don't worry about those things, and don't measure yourself with everybody else. Just stick to what you're doing. Make sure that you are evolving. Make sure that you're learning and getting better. And then it'll all work out for you.
I noticed that you are super into AAJA and V3. Why is it so important to you to come out to these panels to participate?
Well, it's interesting because I'm often insulated in my job. I go to work, I'm in the studio, sometimes I go and cover my stories, but I don't really get to meet fellow journalists except when I come to these environments. And then that's when you really realize that you are making a difference, that you're having an impact, that you do act as a role model to a lot of people. And to me, that's inspiring. And also, it's good to share with people what you've learned, because a lot of times it's so easy to be discouraged, and I've had those moments in my career where I was like, I want out, I want to go back to school, I want to do something else. And you look back at that like it's such a distant memory, thinking I almost went somewhere else, and I'm so glad I didn't. So those are the kinds of stories that are good to share with your cohorts, with people who are young and upcoming, and it makes me feel good. It kind of fulfills the soul to come to these kinds of events.
What were some of those times that you were in a rut and made you kind of want to leave?
Well, I remember when I came closest to getting out, I was an evening anchor at the CBS station in El Paso, Texas. Okay. And I just felt like it was tough to make a living in that size of a market. You're always dealing with management that just doesn't get you, that you feel is insufficient or deficient, and make bad decisions, and you're like, you feel like your career is being pulled by those kinds of people. So it became very frustrating. It's like, I don't want to live that way, where I have to rely on somebody who I believe is not good at what they do to fulfill my quality of life. So I got really close to getting back out of the industry, going back to school. I thought maybe I could be a doctor. But then something happened where I got a little bit more fulfillment. I stayed with it, and within a year I moved off to Sacramento. Wow. And from Sacramento I was there for 3 years, and I came to LA soon after that, and I've been here for 18 years. So it's one of those things where you just never know when the opportunity is going to strike. And when things started happening for me, it was right at the tail end of me in El Paso, where I was so ready to get out, and all of a sudden everybody wanted me. But nobody wanted me before that, just like 6 months to a year before that. And there's no rhyme to reason why. And I don't think I changed a whole lot as a person or a professional, but it just happened. And that's the way it goes for a lot of people.
And what do you think makes a good journalist?
Well, you have to you can't just tell yourself you want to do it, and then you're going to do what's necessary to do it. You have to have a passion for wanting to tell a story. You want to be able to relate to people. You want to kind of get inside their lives and say what makes you tick. Why are you in the situation, good or bad, that you're in? And I want to tell the world why you were there, so they could learn from it, be inspired by it, change it for you, change it for them. That passion is what makes you a journalist. If you don't have that passion, you shouldn't be here. You shouldn't be here because you want to be on TV and be famous, and you want to someday make a lot of money. Because first of all, probably none of those things are going to happen. That's just the way journalism is these days. You have to have a passion for wanting to make a difference, for wanting to tell somebody else's story, and finding fulfillment in that. And when you have that, and if you have that, then you should be a journalist.
And how important is social media in terms of journalism nowadays?
Well, it's enormously important. In fact, believe it or not, me at my level, my station had me sit down with a social media expert and do a seminar with them this week. It's kind of a refresher trying to remind us old-timers the importance of social media and how that is becoming the backbone of local news. Whereas you have to, especially reaching young people like yourself. People like yourself, they're on their smartphones, they're on their iPads, they're on their computers more than they're on their television. So they're selectively finding things that they find interesting. If you don't put your product out on social media, you don't reach those people, and then you eventually will die, because that is a lifeline. That's how you stay afloat in this industry, to get people to share your information. Everybody in the journalism business has to understand the value of social media, and that's where we've gone. It's not just looking at ratings on your television anymore. That's just part of the equation. Social media is another big part of the equation, becoming bigger.
And do you think you're going to keep up with what you learned?
Well, I will tell you this. I am an invalid at social media, but I am here to learn. You know, where you are in journalism is where I am in social media. So I understand the need for it. I'm trying to get better at it. Right now, I'm still remedial. I totally suck, but I do understand its importance. And so maybe in a year, 2, 3, I'm going to get it. I'm going to have it down, and I could speak up about it as an expert and not as a beginner.
And what do you think about how much AAJ has done for Asian American journalists?
Well, it is the one place to go if you're an Asian American journalist, if you want support, if you want people to mentor you, if you want to go to a great job fair at the convention, if you want to meet people that'll help you, if you want to find scholarships. There's no better source than AAJ. So, and plus, you know, it's good just to be around people like you.
Yeah.
Who are going through your own struggles, who you can learn from, you could find a support system through, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you very much, David, for your time and just your inspiration.
Sure thing. It was great talking to you.
I'm Vicky Nguyen with David Ono at IdeateTV at V3 Convention.